Hi, everyone. Welcome back to episode 2 of Could Never Be Me. How has everyone's week been? I want to know. This week, okay, first of all, August is fake. Time is fake. We're literally on a floating rock because how is August almost over? How are we even in August? It's not adding up for me. But here we are. My week was genuinely the week from hell. Like, last we spoke, my hair was disgusting. I got it done. I don't know why I'm like rocking a side part right now. Who am I? Wait, let's rearrange because I'm a part of the side part slander, and I think I was trying to be like edgy, and it's not my vibe or my motive. So yeah, I got my hair done. I'm like a golden brunette now, would you say? Sound off in the comments. But thank you. That was something I just really had to get off my chest and express to you guys this week. But my week was really, really hard. Simply because I just hate working. Like, why was I not born a Nepo baby? I tell my mom this all the time, like, love you to death, would never replace you. But like, if I had the opportunity to have rich parents or to make you have money, like, let's get that working. Let's get that going. Um, Because I don't want to work. Never have, never will. I want to lay in different parts of the world and be happy and be hot. Because working has never been something I've been passionate about. I'm passionate about serving con. I'm passionate about traveling the world. I'm passionate about being facey. If you don't know what being facey is, one of my friends from college, Gloria, taught me this. It's when you go out, you're always out on the scene, you're always out and about, and everyone knows you. Or you know how you go out and you always see someone every time you go out and you're like, damn, we see this person all the time. That person's facey. I want to be that person. So, I don't know where I was going with any of this, but my week was hard simply because of work. Just a lot going on. My internet, because my mom lives in literally buttfuck nowhere. And wait, you guys, I'm having a Miley Cyrus The Climb Summer at my mom's like house in the middle of the woods. And I'm now brunette. Am I morphing into Miley Cyrus as we speak? I took off the wig, the Hannah Montana wig, and now I'm Miley. Back in Crowley Corners. This is so symbolic for me. And I genuinely feel that. I feel like I'm a more like acoustic version of myself. Wow. Anyways, so the Wi-Fi went off and I had to go into the office multiple days last week, which is an hour away. And I always say I don't want to work remotely, but then when I have to like go into the office at like and leave here at 6 a.m., I realize like I'm not a morning person. I was not built for this type of lifestyle. So that quickly changed my mind about a lot of things. I also had to pay like 3 parking tickets this week, which kind of killed my vibe. So for future notice, driving fast could never be me because why the fuck did I pay $300 in speeding tickets? That's not my vibe no longer. I also didn't pay one on time, and like I don't know what that means for me, and I fear my next episode will be made from a jail cell. Um, like I don't know how to do anything, and like I don't care. Regardless, my week was rough. Had a couple of NTBs and honestly didn't look my best, and I think that is the root of most of my problems. Whenever I don't feel hot, I don't have a good week. And I got my period, girls. Point blank, I got my period. And I was on the red. I was in the red. And I think my mom got a lot of the surrounding effects from that. I was a psycho schizophrenic freak for the last 7 days. And I think she knew. And she told me when I was crying, when are you due for your period? And I that enraged me. And I said, that is so misogynistic. You're belittling my feelings and my emotions. The next day I got my period. So, yeah. That honestly, everything added up. When I got my period, I was like, this makes so much sense as to why my week has panned out this way. But yeah, so it wasn't really the best week, but getting my hair done, I did a self-care day before I got my hair done because I feel like women know this. Like, everything is planned to a T. Like, whether it's your hair wash schedule, whether it's your self-tanning schedule, whether it's when you do your nails, like your eyebrows, everything is on a schedule, and you have to plan things out to work with your plans for the week. So I was like, sorry, girl, let's stick to the topic. My hyperfixation right now is 0 sugar cherry Coke. It tastes exactly like regular, and Coke Zero, you can taste it. You can taste that aspartame. But anyways, so I did my nails, I did my brows, I went to the beach and tanned before my hair appointment. I did not self-tan because I just am over the self-tan. Why am I self-tanning if the UV's 9 plus? And yeah, so I got myself prepped. I did a full beat to my hair appointment with my nasty old blonde hair because I knew, girls get this. You need a fresh beat when you go to get your hair done. If not, you're going to feel like you look insane. Also, if you're getting a blowout or just like a cut or something, having a fresh beat, what are we doing after? The plans are made because you look impeccable and then you feel yourself. And I told my hairstylist that I was in my ugly era and I knew getting my hair done would be the cherry on top and it would be over for you hoes. You have to give people breaks sometimes so you can come back even stronger, and that's what I was doing for the last couple of weeks. So if any of you feel a shift in the environment, if any of you, your men go missing, I'm just letting you know that it's because I'm out of hibernation, but just for future awareness. Just letting you guys know. So yeah, this week was not an amazing one, but getting my hair done and kind of having my mini little glow up made me feel a lot better about myself. Also, going on runs has been life-saving lately. Very skinny of me. I'm with the Coke Zero too. I'm like, who am I? But speaking of work, this week's episode, I wanted to kind of dive into jobs. Since working could really never be me, but it seems to be me because how else are the bills gonna get paid? What else did I get a college degree for? Working is something that has always been a problem in my life, I would say. Not in the sense that like I can't get jobs or I can't keep jobs, in the sense that I never know what I want to do. Growing up, my friends have always called me Trish from Austin and Alley because I have a new job in college, in school, not now. I've had the same job for over a year now, but in school, I had different jobs every semester. Like, obviously, you're young, you're dumb, you're in high school, you're in college, and you just like, you lose sight of the plot. You're not worried about your career. You're not worried about the money. You're more so worried about your plans on the weekends and being able to make all these trips you have booked. So I kind of wanted to make this episode about jobs that I've had, my experience working, some horror stories I have from some of my jobs. I think I've dived into pretty much every career field that there is besides construction. So be on the lookout. I might be putting in your roof. You never know. But yeah, so I am going to start from the beginning. Let's think. My very first job, you guys. My very first job was at a sports bar, and it was called Duffy's. And it's like an Irish themed sports pub bar. I don't know what you would call that. It was a sports bar for sure. I think sports bar was literally in the name, and I'm just like tweaking. I worked there for almost 2 years. Or no, I worked there. Yeah, I worked there almost 2 years. I got the job when I was 16. My sister worked there, and I was so excited because I think when you're in high school, it's so hard to get a job. And I had no bills. Obviously, I'm 16, and I was making bank because I was hostessing and I did to go orders. So I made tips plus my hourly, and I used to think I was hot shit. Me and my friends would go to the mall. I would have bags on bags, and my friends would have the 20s their mom gave them, and I would be like, "Oops." Maybe if you had a job, maybe if you ran a business, you'd be able to stock up. But no, I used to literally, my best friend had a car at the time, and I would pay the gas and she would drive and we would just go, 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 go. But that first job was my absolute favorite job I've ever had to this day. Like, I worked there for almost 2 years, and everyone, it was like a family. I was so young, and I took the job so seriously. And bitch, looking back, bitch, I used to take two city buses to get to my job. And then at night, they would have to let me off 30 minutes early so I could catch the last bus. And then that bus would take me straight home because it was one bus home, but two buses to get there. Was it two buses to get there? It was two buses. It was the 19 to the 31. Bitch, I remember. If you're from Broward, you know. But I had to take the 19 to the 31, and I was literally 16, this little girl, and my uniform was a mini skirt. It was which is kind of like not okay. Like, Loki, cancel them. But it was a black, I think I might still have it in my closet. I'm not gonna lie. Because this is my childhood room. I might have it in the closet. My mom keeps everything. I think my prom dress is literally in there too. Anyways, I used to wear a black mini skirt, like these micro mini skirts had nothing on it. It had shorts under it, but still my ass was out. And then the ugliest green collared spandex shirt, and I would just like wear my hair in a pony. But I love that job. It was so much fun. We would do like company Christmas. We would not company. We would do like staff Christmas parties and like staff football games on Thanksgiving, and everyone lived near each other and everyone would hang out on the weekends. And all of my friends were the hostesses, and we would all go out and hang out together. And when I became a server as I got older, like in my senior year of high school, um, my manager put me on a lot of shifts to help me save for college and save for my apartment in college. Um, and I made literally friends for life. When I left for college, I remember like everyone got me like little gifts and gift cards and like moving stuff to help, and it was the sweetest thing ever. I remember sobbing when I left that job because it was just iconic. I met my first ever I, I worked or yeah, actually let's not talk about that. Um that job taught me so much, and I always made really good money. Like, I would when I served, I could come in on like cuz on Super Bowl or like during like football season, I would come in and like do my makeup and wear booty shorts and make like $300-400 in like a morning, which is crazy. So I used to eat that job up. Love that job. Love that, made me love serving because it was tea. Like, you would flirt. Like, I would get a few numbers every now and then. Some of my coworkers were kind of hot, and I would flirt, and we would go out for drinks after work and stuff when I was literally 18, because the bar down the road, if I came in my uniform, they would serve me, which is kind of crazy, but we would all go for drinks after work and stuff. It was so fun. I loved that job. That job was iconic. It was everything. Then when I graduated high school and I went to Florida State for college, I ended up working. What was my first job in college? It was at this like bakery coffee shop called the Sweet Shop, and I worked there. That was my first job. That was my first job. I worked there for 3 weeks, I want to say, which is kind of crazy. You're gonna notice that, like, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm messing up the timeline. That wasn't my first job. Duffy's was my first like paid job, but like I volunteer worked when I was 14. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm messing up the timeline. I volunteer worked at a reptile and exotic animal store in front of my house in Pompano, when I lived in Pompano growing up. And I would like basically help care for all the reptiles, the animals. They had like monkeys, they had like a two-headed snake, they had rock iguanas, they had Oh my gosh, they had prairie dogs, and the prairie dogs, when like the store closed at night and we were cleaning everything up, they would let the prairie dogs run out and about around the store, and they would nip your ankles. And the reason I stopped working there was because I would have nightmares about the prairie dogs because they scared the living shit out of me. And my mom like heard me one night like screaming in my sleep about, and I said prairie dog, and she was like, you can't work there anymore because like you're literally having nightmares about these animals. So I had to stop working at the reptile store, but they used to have like cockroach eating contest. It was crazy, you guys. It was, and someone died. It was crazy. But I love that job because I love, love, love animals. But like, it was iconic. I used to literally, I was not paid, under the counter, working there, volunteering, spraying the chameleon cages, misting them, like changing out the water bowls in the bearded dragon cages, like feeding the snakes rats, doing my rounds. Like I was a zookeeper at the age of 14. That was my first kind of like job, but paid was definitely serving at Duffy's. But then in college, I started working at the sweet shop. And I was a freshman. I had no idea what I was in for. Oh my God. My boss, this was my first experience with like a mean boss. I never had a boss that was like, would just be rude and yell at me and like make me genuinely cry and want to kill myself. This boss was so mean. He would literally, I'm like, okay, girl. He would literally call me woman. I wore a name tag that had my name on it, and he would call me woman. I remember there was one situation where he would like, they would get shipments in, and we'd have to go to like the side of the building to go pick up like all the shipments. There'd be fresh fruit, there'd be like napkins, cups, like regular stuff. And I went to go pick up a crate of apples once, and he was like, no, girl, don't pick that up. Let the men pick up the heavy stuff here. And hands me a thing of napkins. I remember just being like, and I grabbed the napkins and I like went inside, and he would just yell at me. And then I think I was literally 18 at this, or like, no, I was 19 at this point. And I remember I was just like fed up with him, and he would make me work every game day, every Saturday, every game day. And I didn't want to work on game days my freshman year. I wanted to go to the games. That's like the best part of college, especially Florida State. And so I lied and said I had strep throat, but I lied and said that my doctor wanted me to be out for a week when she actually just wanted me to be out for 2 days until the antibiotics worked. But I lied because I wanted to go to the game. And he literally called me a liar on the phone, which I was lying, but like, who are you to call me a liar? I'm not a liar. I just lied. But I'm like, I am not the problem. So I called my nurse, and I was like, hey, can you write me a doctor's note to like extend it? She was like, yeah, girl, I got you. She had my back. She was the OG girl's girl. She wrote me a doctor's note extending the time off work, and I sure as hell did not go in, went partying that weekend, came in for my shift the next week, and I handed him the note. I was like, here. He goes, what's this? I was like, here. And he opens it up, and I'm like, so next time you're gonna call me a liar? I was sick. So don't call me out of my name. And he looked at me and he was like, okay, now get back to work. He kind of ate me up low key because what was I proving? And I was like, no. I don't know what came over me. I go, no, I quit. And I refuse to be called a liar. I came in to bring you this and show you. And he goes, come on, put your apron on and get to work. And I'm like, no, I quit. I'm done with this job. And he looks at me and he's like, good luck finding a better job than this. As I'm like in college to like get a salary career, like get up for real, be the realest you ever been. But that job was notorious. Like growing up and like going into my sophomore and junior year at Florida State, like everyone knows the sweet shop is like the worst place you can work. He's horrible to everyone, and he's even horrible to like people that come in and eat there. Like he screams at you if you bring in outside food or drinks, and like it's just like a known thing. But because I was a freshman, I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. So that was my like second paying job ever, but I quit in 3 weeks. And then after that, I was broke, like as fuck, down bad. So I got a job at the ice cream shop called Brewster's that was right by my apartment. This was the same semester, by the way. This I probably got that next job like a week later. And I would scoop ice cream. And freshman year, I had so many jobs. I would scoop ice cream and I would like run the drive through, and I would fuck around with people in the drive through, and I would put on the headset, and like me and all my coworkers were like in college too, and I would put on the headset and I'd be like, hey, welcome to Brewster's, what can I get you? Yeah, you. And they would talk and I go, yeah, you. Yeah, yeah, you. I would cut them off, and we would just cackle and chop it up at the ice cream shop, babe. Like, and I loved that job. That job was vibes. My manager played how do you say it? Dungeons and Dragons. And like she would be in the back playing her little Dungeons and Dragons, and me and my coworkers would be at the front scooping that ice cream. Girl, you would get 2 free scoops a day. I would have my spoon in that wedding cake ice cream all day. I think I gained like 15 pounds working there. Not even like that. Freshman 15 was gained all because I worked there. And I worked there the whole year. I actually had that job all my freshman year until COVID, and then I had to move back home for COVID. Um, and so then I was unemployed, and I got unemployment because obviously like I got laid off because of COVID. And then what did I do when I came back? Oh, when I my oh, this next job, you guys, is the absolute worst. This was my sophomore year of college. I got into Florida State because I was going to TC at the time. Got into Florida State, transferred from the community college, and this was during COVID. We were finally coming back to campus. I got an off campus apartment with all my best friends. I was so excited to be back, and I got a job working at Ulta. If you know, you know, like if you worked at an Ulta or Sephora, you know the trauma that comes with that. And thankfully, this was a time where we all had to wear masks, so like I didn't have to like beat my face to the gods every day. But working at Ulta was like the craziest job, I think. Like other than like being called woman by my manager, like this was the other job that like my manager was so mean. And like we had to wear headsets like we were in the CIA, like the eagle is fucking landing on aisle 4 with the Mario Badescu spray. Like we were keeping tabs on people in the store, and there would be people that would come in and literally just like swipe perfumes off of like the display and into their backpacks and then run out, and like we're not allowed to stop them. So I'd just be watching them steal like thousands of dollars of like Ariana Grande Rem perfume and like Billie Eilish perfume, like fucking shoveling it into their bags. And I'd be like, hey girl, do you need help with that? Do you want a basket? Like, because we can't do anything. And obviously I wouldn't do anything. I'd literally help them if anything. But I, that job was crazy. My manager, she who must not be named, would just like try my life. And I remember I came in, the way that Ulta is like you basically have to wear, I love a uniform. I love a job with a uniform. I hate a job that doesn't have a uniform but has like strict ass requirements of what you have to wear. I'm not going out and buying clothes to work. I'm so sorry. Like, you've got me messed up. Unless I'm making a salary where I'm like I have benefits and I'm making a good amount of money, I'm not going out and buying clothes. And this job was like you had to wear like certain like colors. It was like plum, pink, orange, gray, black, and white are the only colors you could wear. But the plum had to be the Ulta plum, and the orange had to be the Ulta orange. So it was like very specific. And I remember I bought this like pleather jacket on Shein, and it was plum, literally called plum. And when I wore it, it was plum. And I wore a tank top, leggings, and then the jacket over. Just trying to be cutesy. Like literally went out of my way to buy this in this color so I could wear it to work. And so I wear it and I walk in and I get on my headset, Madison to the back office, please. As soon as I enter the doors, and I'm like, oh, what now? Because you know, you can feel your heart drops, you're a pussy. And you're like, I know something is happening. So I walk to the back. My manager's like, have a seat. She's like, so that's not plum. And I'm like, what? Literally, when I'm fed up, I don't care. I look at her, I'm like, what? She's like, that's not plum. She prints out the Ulta Plum color, like hex box thing, on a sheet of paper and holds it up to my jacket and is like, this isn't the same shade. Do you have like another jacket in your car, or like, can you take it off? And I take it off and I'm wearing a tank top, so it's like this. She's like, you can't wear that. And I'm like, okay, so what do you want me to do? Do you want me to clock out and go home? Because that's literally not a punishment. Like, I'd be happy to go home. And she was like, no, I guess you can just work the rest of the shift with it, but like, don't let it happen again. And I was like, so she wrote me up for that, which is crazy. But it was just like little things like that where I was constantly nitpicked. And it was the most boring job. Working in retail is the most boring job. I salute those of you that work in retail and can do it, and like, it's the best when you work with people you like, but when you work with people you don't like, it is not the vibe. I had one girl I love there. Her name is Chanel. Stan her, love her. I would call her Carisha and she would call me JT. She was everything. And we would just talk shit. But when she wasn't working, I was like in hell because I hated it. I also never got any like freebies, which I know a lot of people say they get like free shit. I never got any. So that's a little scammy. I did get my discount though, which I loved. I would always get my friends stuff. Like, I'd be like, what do you need? This new product is releasing. I can save you some. And that was the best part of the job. And I love makeup and love products. So it was fun. I literally refused. Like, once I quit, I refused to go shop there because I left on kind of like bad terms. Because I requested off to go to the Dominican Republic with my friends for my, was it my 20th birthday? My 19th birthday? No, it was my 20th birthday. Me and my friends, we went to Dominican Republic. I requested off 4 months in advance, which is more than enough time. And 2 weeks before the trip, when I had already bought the resort, paid for the tickets, paid for everything, my manager denied my PTO just to be spiteful. And so I called her and I quit on the spot. And I went to DR. And I have a video of me and my friends toasting to my manager, being like, well, I'm in DR now, bitch. Who's gonna stop me? So that was a job that, like, I hated. Like, I would dread going into work, and, like, it was just the worst. It was so boring. I can never work in retail again. After that, I was like, I don't know if I could ever work in retail again. But I did, because I quit Ulta. What was my next job after Ulta? I know, you guys. I know. Okay. After Ulta, I ended up working at another restaurant. It was a local restaurant in my college town. It was like a sports bar, same vibe as Duffy's, but like more like island vibes. And I served there for a couple of months. It was honestly a good job. I didn't really make much because they would give me the literal worst sections, but I was also like, if they were making cuts, they'd be like, who wants to get cut? Who wants to go home early? I would be the first one to raise my hand. I volunteer as tribute. Send me home. I don't want to work. Even if I was like broke, I would be like, send me home. I'm good. So that's probably why they never gave me good sections. But I worked there. I also hated everyone I worked with. It was very cliquey. The boys were not very nice. And I worked with these older women that like they would have the biggest sections because they worked there the longest and they were friends with the manager. And they all had kids and stuff. I trained with one of them, and mind you, she's in her 40s. At this point, I'm 20, not even 21 yet. At this point, I'm literally 19, 20. So I am like training with her. I have my makeup done, my hair done. I'm going up to tables with her, and there's this group of boys that comes in, and we're like serving them, and I will never forget this. Mind you, she has gray hair. Like, she's old. Like, not even to be like that person. Like, you can be old and hot. Not saying you can't be. But like, she looked like an older lady. Nope, no worries, Nat. You're a beautiful girl. Just keep that in mind for the plot. So, in the situation, I was helping her with the table with the guys. We greet them, whatever. And then she got busy and was like, can you bring these to that table? So I go by myself, and I basically do the table by myself because she got too busy. They leave the check, and one of them was really hot, and we were like kind of like laughing and flirting. They leave the checks, and the one that I was flirting with left his number on the receipt and was like, "You're really cute, call me." I opened it, like peeked at it because I kind of had a feeling, and then I closed it and I went to go get her to let her know like they left, the checks are here, can she show me how to close them out? So like she grabs all the books, we go to the register, she's going through them one by one, closing out the checks. She sees the one with the number and she goes, "Boy, I'm too old for you. You really think you can get all this?" And she closes it and rips out the receipt, crumples it and throws it in the trash. I did not even know what to say to her at that point. Like, what am I gonna say? Like, that wasn't meant for you. Like, that's so humbling. So I kind of just was like, what the fuck? But what's even worse is that I went and like I was friends with this busboy that worked there, and I told him the situation. He was like, "Oh my god, let's go try to find it in the trash." Me and this boy are digging through the trash to try to find this boy's number. We could not find it. But that like situation, I went home and told all my friends, and they were like gagging. They were like, it was just so embarrassing for her. And after that, it was just kind of a crazy environment. She would always just like make little slick comments to me. Very like older white woman being mad she's not young anymore and taking it out on the youth of today. Like, girl, outlive you challenge, I win. Anyways, so I ended up quitting that job. I worked there for like 6 months. And then I quit that job because I got a new job working with one of my best friends at the time at the Capitol. I'm like, now I'm entering my political career. I worked at the Florida History Museum, or I worked at, me giving you my LinkedIn. I'm like, guys, just follow me and you can see it everywhere. I worked at the state capitol and the museum in the gift shop. And I worked with my best friend at the time, and they never scheduled us together. So it was basically like me sitting alone in this tiny little gift shop in the Capitol on like having my personal computer here and the work computer here with like the register, and me just watching movies. Like, I think I watched the entire Batman, like, discography and the entire Joker discography. And I watched like I watched the whole Sex and the City series. I went through the entire Disney Plus like new cartoon movies. Like, I watched Encanto, I watched Luca, I watched oh my god, it's the two trolls and their brothers. Onward. I watched Onward. I watched Turning Red. I watched so many movies in that job because it was there. No one would come in. Literally, it was dead. No one even knew the gift shop was there. And they had a full break room where I could like heat up my food, and I would just like order my Starbucks to the museum, and I would sit in there and I'd watch movies and I'd eat. And I got paid good. Like, I got paid like 12 an hour. And I just sat there. I got paid 13, I think. I just sat there. My checks were fat. The only thing is that prepared me for like the future because I got paid monthly there. And I had never gotten paid monthly. I was so used to making tips or getting paid bi-weekly. Oh, girl, I was rich at the beginning of the month, broke halfway through. Oh, girl, that is what made me realize that I cannot budget money. That gave me that wake up call. But it was so much fun working there. My bosses were so nice. Um, I was going through a really hard time when I was working there. I was in my junior year of college, and I was the most depressed and anxious I have literally ever been in my entire life. Like, hair falling out, acne all over my face, like pale as fuck, under eye bags, the house. And I was just going through a horrible phase of my life. Um, and like, my managers were so understanding, and that job like helped me kind of just like, it gave me like, I feel like if I was to still be working at the serving job, it was just such a stressful environment where like I really didn't have time to like to myself and to just like breathe if I needed to, or like have a panic attack in the bathroom if I needed to. Whereas like this job, it gave me the ability to just like chill and like be in my own thoughts and be by myself, which I loved. So it was a great job. I worked there for almost a year. I loved that job. The only reason I didn't continue working there was because I needed internships for college, and because they were actually going under construction and I couldn't continue working there. So I basically got laid off, but it wasn't like you're fired. It was like the whole museum is closing down. So, um I loved that job. Still do to this day. Literally I use one of the ladies as my reference cuz she's amazing. Um the next place I worked, I'm like after I took on the political sphere in the Capitol, I then went on to begin my career in public relations. And I worked remotely in oh no no no. Oh no 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 no. I'm jumping ahead. I then needed internship credit for college, so I got an internship at the research center at my college where I was an editor for people's research, and that was one of the hardest jobs I have ever had. It was unpaid. I would have to like help run the social medias along with creating the magazine for the research center, along with editing the researchers published slash like published slash like what would you call it, like published pieces and non-published pieces that would just go in like research colloquiums, which are like events. I didn't even know what a colloquium was until I worked there. I was like, girl, what the hell is that? And I quickly found out. And I basically just, that was the first job that taught me how to bullshit and lie my way through anything. I would have to do one-on-one meetings with the researchers and go over their work and make sure that it was edited perfectly and like their grammar and their spelling and their formatting and their syntax, everything was good. Half the time I didn't even know what I was doing. I literally had to Google so much stuff. And we would have to write blog posts for the research program. And it was a lot of work. And I worked there for 2 semesters, I think. And I loved it. And then I ended up, after that, getting a paid internship with a PR firm. And I worked remotely. That was my first remote job. Or no, it was my second remote job. I also worked for a startup app that would do like discount codes for students. And I would just do events, but that was like, it was kind of scammy. And then after I like had my paid PR internship, I started doing Bumble, and Bumble was my absolute favorite internship. It was a job because I got paid for it in college. I was a social media marketing manager for my school's like Bumble team. It's called like Bumble Honey. And I would basically plan events and do like social media posts and create graphics. And that's when I found out exactly what I wanted to do. And they would give me like stipends to plan events. And I did like a goat yoga. I did like a Starbucks for students. Like we'd go to the Starbucks on campus and like give out free coffee. I did like a Valentine's Day event where we would like leave flowers around campus for people. I honestly, I loved it. And I like managed a team of people and it was so much fun. That was like my absolute favorite thing I've ever done. And they would send us merch boxes every month. And I still have so much of the stuff. All of my friends were Bumbled the house boots down. Like they would all have Bumble bandanas and Bumble glasses and Bumble bags and they literally would have everything Bumble because I just got so much stuff I didn't even know what to do with it. And that was so much fun. That was a job that just like let me have creative freedom and I loved it. I also did um and they also had a lot of perks and a lot of benefits. It was a really, really great company to work for. I loved that job. My friends were just so sick of the Bumble yellow being everywhere in our house. Like we had like a tapestry and we had so much shit. I remember having like 4 big boxes of like Bumble hats and koozies and bandanas and sunglasses and frisbees and it was just crazy. Um but that's how I met one of my like a bunch of my friends and I loved that program. And then I did the Princess Polly College ambassadorship, which was just like posting to get free clothes. I loved that, girl, because I have a shopping addiction and that kind of like I was in my brokest era my senior year of college and that job or internship helped me like satisfy that craving of shopping because they would literally give me like a certain amount I could spend every month. It was so much fun. I loved doing that. And then I would have to make posts and the girl I worked with was super nice. And then after that, what did I do? Oh, I got a job at yeah, and then I went back to the service industry. I got a job as a bartender at this bar in the area. And I worked there for literally 10 days and then I quit because they were giving me 2 shifts a week and I needed at least 5 to pay my rent. So I was not working there anymore. Um, I remember on my first day, I like wore these like Fashion Nova tight like bootcut jeans and I wore like my bar shirt, did my hair, my makeup. You know, if you're working like in the service industry, like you do your nails, you do your hair, you do your makeup because you want to make your money, like especially as a girl, like hello. So I remember like I was so nervous. I like went in on my first day. They like kind of had me behind the bar with everyone, but not really doing anything. And I'm kind of awkward. Like if it's just like I don't really know what to say to people. So I'm standing there and I'm just like by the register, like reading up on the beers and trying to do my research on drinks. And I just like that Abby Lee Miller meme where it's like I'm sitting there enjoying my meal when all of a sudden I hear this squeaky, annoying voice. My two best friends are sitting at the bar behind me, and one of my friends, Eric, has the most recognizable laugh. I just hear him. Yeah, 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 yeah. I turn around. I was like, on my first day when I'm training, these bitches come and sit at the bar. Oh, I was mortified, but it was so funny. They were like, your ass looks fat in those pants. We were cackling, and I'm like trying so hard not to laugh, and then it makes everything funnier. And I was just like, fuck. But my friends would pop up at my jobs a lot, which is like one fun thing about working like in the service industry in college is like if you like serve, your friends come sit at your table, and then they can kind of like distract you and not really like the best work ethic, but you know, you do what you do. And then after I worked at the brewing company, um, I got a job at a place my sister worked at, which is like an Asian fusion restaurant, and I just was a cashier there. And working with my sister was the worst decision of my life. Love her to death. We argued more than I've ever argued with anyone in my life. Like, it was insane. I don't recommend working with your family. It's not the vibe. It wasn't the vibe in high school when I did it, and it's not the vibe now. We love each other, but that was insane of me. She would like try to like teach me how to mop, and I'd be like, Sydney, be the realest you ever been. Like, come on. Um, but yeah, so I ended up working there and then I graduated college and now I work in my career. But I've pretty much had every single job under the sun, and the common denominator is if I'm not making enough money, I don't care. And I'm don't want to be there. Now I'm very happy and I'm in a place where I know exactly what I want, and it's empowering. Having jobs and like making your money is like empowering. When you're young and like, you get that first check, girl, you want to splurge. Like I don't even remember what I spent. I think I probably spent my first paycheck was probably like around $400, and I think I literally spent it all on clothes. I think I like ordered off of Zaffle and like bought like hella shit. And I felt like that girl. And what having jobs really teaches you though is that like money comes and goes. Like the amount of money I literally had when I was younger that I spent and like did crazy things with. I'm just like, girl, get a grip, get an accountant, cause it's insane. You should never give a 16-year-old a bank account. Like that's crazy. But I did also invest my money in a lot of things. I bought my first car when I was 18, and I loved that car. I paid it in full. It was a clunker, but I was obsessed with that car. I paid for my first college apartment with my saved money from my job. I put myself through school and paid rent. So, you know what? As much as I hate working, it's something that you gotta do. Now, if I was Northwest, you would never catch me. I'd be an influencer, the house boots. I would literally never clock in. I would clock into my Zoom and get on that TikTok, get that creator fund. But shit's not that sweet for a regular girl like me. But yeah, I think I've definitely had my fair share of like job horror stories and crazy experiences with bosses. I feel like I always like I am that girl that like if I'm yelled at, I will start sobbing. Like that's just how I am. Like I can't stand when someone raises their voice at me or like talks to me some type of way in front of a customer. Like which a good boss will never do. That's something that I've realized. I've had so many bad bosses in the past that like that's not true leadership. People shouldn't just be treated like disposable employees. Like they're human and they have emotions, and it's embarrassing for anyone to like be like talked down to just because like you're not on the like high up on the totem pole at the company. Like so I think that it taught me a lot about leadership and the type of leader that I want to be. I think I'd be a really cool boss. I think I would be honestly like I'm a control freak, but I feel like if it's not my company, even if it was my company, like I trust you to get your work done. If your work is done, I'm not gonna like be on your back, you know? So I think I'd be a cool boss. I think yeah. Cause I love that. I love my first boss was so cool. Like he was hilarious. We could joke around. Like he would like buy my meals at work and like he would schedule me extra if I like if we were just joking around and like fucking with each other. Like he would literally be like, okay, I'll put you on the schedule. Like stop being annoying, get out of my office. Like it's that type of like tough love that I like in a job employer. And I like when it feels like family. That's how a lot of my jobs have felt, but a lot of them have not, girl. Don't get it twisted. But I feel like I'm a little jack of all trades, or I'm not a jack. I feel like I'm a little jack of all trades, low key. I'm like, for someone with so many jobs, I'm really talentless. I think, like, my experience at least in like getting jobs. Let's talk about getting jobs because I think there's some people that might struggle with that. I think one thing I've always said is one thing about me, I will always get a job. What could never be me is not having a job. I've been working since I was 16 and I've had two jobs at a time multiple times in my life. Like these jobs overlap, most of them. Um, but I like think the most important thing, print out that resume, girl. Don't be afraid. Print out that resume. Go inside businesses. I know everything's online now, but go inside a business, especially if you're young. Go in, like print out your resume and go inside. Even if it's a serving job. Whew, a little sleepy, huh? Even if it's a serving job or it's a job that's like not as official, like still print out your resume, get in a nice outfit, like wear jeans and like a nice top, and go into the establishment and give them your resume. That number one just looks so good on you. And like bring a pen. That is my number one thing. I think that's so cunty. Bring a nice gel ballpoint pen. Like bring a nice gel pen and keep it in your purse. And that way when you're at the interview and they give you like the application to fill out, pull out your pen when they're looking to give you one. Be like, I got one. That's cunty. That's cunty. A solid handshake, making sure you look presentable. And, oh, when you're waiting to be interviewed, don't go on your phone. Sit there and just look around or look at your resume. Go through your resume. Don't go on your phone because that looks bad. So I feel like they watch you and they make you wait a little long sometimes to see what you do when you think they're not looking. So those are like some tips. If you have a nose ring, take it out. I always do. Now things are more flex. I think I wore my nose ring for my corporate job I have now. But mainly just turn on the charm, girl. You're a baddie bee. Just smile, make some jokes. Don't use too much slang. I like fall victim to that where I use slang a lot. Like I'll be like, "Oh, that eats." Girl, I can't be in a room full of corporate men and being like, "Oh, that eats." They're going to be like, "Are you hungry?" Like, girl, it's not funny. It's not cute. It's not very demure of me. So, I need to be more demure in that sense, but whenever you're in an interview, just be polite. Always show up 5 minutes early. Being late is something I've struggled with, but showing up early and just being on it, researching the company, like being ready. I've always gotten every job I've applied for. Actually, let me not lie in front of your faces. Since every job that I've had like pre-college, every job I've had pre-grad, I've gotten that I've applied for. I've gotten. Post grad, life is a little bit tougher, but Yeah, having all these jobs has just taught me more and more that I want to work to live, not live to work. Because working will never be what consumes me. Working will never be what I go to bed thinking about. Working will never be something that I measure my days by. I just refuse to live my life that way. And that's really scary to me to think of like my life panning out that way. So I'm like, let's be positive and not so existentially dreading in this and just go for jobs we know that we like and hopefully things pan out. And if they don't, you know what? There's always another opportunities are like buses. They're around every corner. Just like men, baby. Hey. And what's meant for you will be for you. If you weren't ready for an opportunity, it wouldn't present itself. So just keep that in mind, my career driven girlies. But this has been this week's episode. If you guys are liking the pod, let me know. Please comment down below and rate me 5 stars. I'm trying to have as many 5-star ratings as we can. Let the girlies know that we're living and laughing and loving for this, you guys. Come on. But you guys can follow me on Instagram at Messy Maddie, MESSYMADIE, and on TikTok at Messy Maddie with 2 Y's. And you guys can tune in next Tuesday for another episode. This has been Could Never Be Me with me, Madison Joy. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you baddies next week. Bye, girl.